He placed a note next to his ear, listened to it, and knew what was written on it. He couldn't even tell the color of the words, but here's the crazy part. He could even bend space. For one split second, the glass wall had become soft, allowing the plastic piece to pass through. This went completely against the known law of physics. How did he actually do it? When he used his special abilities, his body would go through some unusual changes. Hello everyone, I'm Bruce.
I'm Zoe.
Today we're going to talk about China's version of SHIELD, the 507 Institute. So, the original purpose of the 507 was not to support the development of China's aerospace technology, such as building space stations and training astronauts. In the 1970s, the Chinese government decided to shut down the 507 Institute because of the funding problem. There was a mass strongly opposite to that, so the institute was eventually preserved. However, its research direction shifted from aerospace technology to the study of supernatural abilities.
So who was this man?
Almost every Chinese person knows his name, Qian Xuesen. Do you know him?
Yeah.
We learned from our textbook, right?
Yes.
Yes. He's an important scientist in Chinese history. He played a leading role in building China's missile, rocket, and space programs, and also nuclear weapons.
I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
Why would such a serious scientist believe in special abilities?
Because when science reaches limits, people start to look for gods. But in Qian Xuesen's case, it was also have a lot to do with her own life experience. Qian Xuesen received his higher education in the United States. In the 1930s, he joined a rocket research group at California Institute of Technology. In this rocket research group, there was a legendary figure named Jack Parsons. He was one of the most controversial rocket scientists of his time, also a practitioner of black magic. He participated in a very famous ritual, Babylon working. So if you guys are interested, maybe we can make a separate episode about Jack Parsons in the future. He was responsible for one of the most important parts of rocket research, rocket fuel. Yet, Jack Parsons wasn't a physicist or a chemist, and he didn't even really have a background in physics or chemistry. But Qian Xuesen was confused. He was like, if you don't understand physics, and if you don't understand chemistry either, then how did you even get into this research group?
Maybe he was a God's chosen one.
Possibly. Jack Parsons said his inspiration came from ancient balcony and black magic. So to him, magic wasn't fantasy, it also almost like science. He believed the human mind has real power, a kind of hidden force that existed everywhere, similar to quantum mechanics. So at the time, the United States and the Soviet Union were both collecting and studying people with supernatural abilities. After Qian Xuesen returned to China, he heard there was so many people in China with extraordinary abilities. So he decided to keep 507 Institute alive and started to research supernatural abilities.
So the 507 Institute turned into the SCP Foundation, going around China connecting Pokemon. What kind of Pokemon did they connect?
Well, that's a very good question. So the first one was Tang Yu. Let's just call him Ring. Ring was a 12-year-old from a poor county in Sichuan province. And one day, someone in the class asked him to pass a note. And Ring discovered that he could know what was written inside without even looking at it. He couldn't even tell the color of the words.
How did he even know that?
According to him, he could hear it. He placed a note next to his ear, listened to it, and knew what was written on it. Soon, the story spread. But of course, many adults didn't believe it. They thought the kid was just messing around. So they tested him on the spot. They wrote the new words right there and asked Ray to guess.
And he got all of them right?
Yes, all of them. Then someone asked, what if you hold the note in your palm? Can you still know what's writing inside?
And he could still tell?
Yes, he could. Later, people discovered that it didn't matter whether they put the notes under his armpits, on his head, against his leg, even under his foot. No matter where it was, he could still tell what was written on it.
I think his sense was super sharp. What happened to this Pokemon in the end?
So after that, people from 507 took him away and carried out series of investigation experiments. In the end, they denied that he had any supernatural powers. They said he was just peeking. But do you think he was just peeking?
No, I feel like maybe they discovered something even more terrifying.
So they just told the public he's fake and secretly hid him away? That is possible. So I tried to look him up, but I couldn't find anything about him. The last reports I found all said he was just peeking. I think by now he's probably 50 years old.
Sounds like he was hidden away. Were there any Pokemon like him?
Yes, and the next one was on the completely different level. His name was Zhang Baosheng. Let's just name him Bao. People said his abilities was even stronger, and he didn't have just one power, he has many.
What kind of powers did he have?
First of all, he had same ability as Rain.
You mean he could also read what was written in the notes?
Yes, but even better, like Pro Max version. We had to put it very close so that he can know what's written in it, but Bao could read it from a distance. So at the time, scientists from the 507 did an experiment. They used different types of paper, put them into different envelopes, then placed those envelopes inside even more envelopes, sealing them layer after layer. However, Bao could still read what was written inside. He could tell exact words, even the color of writing, without making a single mistake. They even blindfolded him, he could still read it.
What if he was completely blind? Could he still read it?
I don't know, the scientists didn't test that part. But here's the crazy part. He could even bend space. The 507 Institute decided to test his abilities with an experiment. They gave him a brand new, unopened bottle of medicine. Inside, there was 100 pills. Back in 1980s China, medicine bottles was often sealed with a cork, and the seal was very tight. It couldn't be opened easily. And so Bao lowered his head, looked at the bottle of the medicine, then picked it up and started shaking it.
So what happened?
So what happened was like, after 10 seconds, some of the pills actually flew out of the bottle. The scientists immediately checked to see if he had done anything suspicious. But the bottle itself was perfectly intact. The mouth of the bottle was undamaged, and the seal had never been opened. Then they counted the pills. The pills had come out, plus the pills still inside the bottle, added up to exactly 100.
Wait, seriously?
Seriously, that's how crazy the story gets. And later, they repeated the experiment several more times, but Bao was still able to shake the pills out every time. So the researchers decided to make the experiment even harder. To rule out the possibility that the pill had been switched, they designed a much more complicated experiment. This time, they made several glass test tubes, and inside each tube, they placed small plastic pieces in 3 different colors. Each plastic piece has a letter on it, and the letters of the same color could be combined to form a Russian word. In other words, each test tube contained different numbers of plastic pieces in 3 colors, and each color group corresponding to 1 Russian word. After putting the plastic pieces inside, they sealed the opening of the glass tubes by melting it shut, turning it into a completely sealed glass container that could never be opened. And here's the important part. Every sealed opening was sealed by hand by scientists, so the shape of each seal was unique and random. That means it could not be a second glass tube in the world with the exactly same sealed opening. They also marked each tube with a binary code on outside before each experiment. They photographed each test tube individually and kept the photos as records. So every single test tube has its own unique identities. On top of that, the people who prepared the test tubes and people who ran the experiments were 2 separate groups. The preparation team did not know what these objects was used for, and the experiment team did not know the details of how the tools had been made. And as for Bao, he absolutely knows nothing. He would only receive these prepared materials when the experiment actually began. At the time, the whole experiment was filmed with a high-speed camera. The camera could catch 400 frames per second, which means it could record everything in slow motion. If Bao was just doing a magic trick, no matter how fast his hands were, they could not escape a high-speed camera. So under such strict conditions, the possibility of cheating or switching the object was zero. But Bao still managed to shape the plastic pieces out of the sealed glass test tube.
I feel like they were studying the wrong thing. They kept trying to prove whether he was cheating or not, but I think he was from another dimension.
Now let's answer your question. How did he actually do it? The research went back and checked the footage frame by frame, and they found something strange. The plastic pieces seemed to come out from the side of the test tube near the bottom. In one frame, the test tube was certainly bulged outwards, and in the very next frame, the plastic piece has already appeared in front of the test tube. For one split second, the glass wall had become soft, allowing the plastic piece to pass through. This went completely against the known law of physics. Then the researchers had another idea. If the plastic piece could come out, could they make something get stuck inside the wall of the test tube? So they put a long thin string inside the tube. Then they asked Bao to shake it out. They hoped to create a piece of string stuck halfway through the glass wall, but unexpectedly, the string snapped. Half of it stayed inside the test tube, and the other half came out. And the scientists realized that Bao could only change the physical state of the test tube for a single instant, but they couldn't maintain the state. So once the moment ended, the string immediately broke.
When he was using his special abilities, could he still hear normal people talking?
Yes, he could. That wasn't a problem. But when he used his special abilities, his body would go through some unusual changes. Researchers at the 507 Institute found that during these moments, Bao's skin resistance showed abnormal changes. At the same time, his brain waves would enter a pattern of normally seen in people who are sleeping. And that was hard to explain, because even he was deliberately performed, that shouldn't happen. A performance usually makes a person more excited, but his brain waves became calmer.
Was there anyone powerful than Bao?
Yes, there's one.